I wanted to, yeah. So one of those cat on a hot tin roof type of days.
Yeah.
A day to remember. We're good. That's Ruta's feed. We got our green room
We got
feed.
our green room.
Everybody's
Good morning,
good.
everybody.
Wow.
Welcome to the day after.
Well, you know what it does? It feels like the day after 9/11 to a certain extent. Let's hope the country unites. That's the one thing that I do go back to 9/11. But boy, that's about 20 minutes down the pike from the conversation that we
we're gonna have right
need
now.
to have for sure.
Yeah.
You know, originally this green room, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, happy 2021.
Happy 2021.
What a way to start.
The original intention, we were going to have a pretty classic New Year's resolution, lighthearted, but that's hard to do today.
Today is not a lighthearted day.
Listen, I'm going to let you take off because,
I think
I'm almost speechless, Ruta.
I am
and
too,
how can that be, everybody? That's almost the first time ever in any venue.
I had a lot of posts on my feed yesterday and a lot of personal phone calls and the dismay that people felt, and it was heartache. It was truly heartache. And I think that's probably a friend of mine, she posted her mother, who's in her 90s, cried yesterday. She never saw this in her 90 something years of living in this country. And it's something that no one should ever be proud of. It's left a black mark on our history. It is a day that will live in infamy, unfortunately. And for those who remotely even accept this somehow, hang your head in shame, because it is not acceptable.
Well, Senator Scott, voted at I think 3 a.m. or whatever it was.
4 a.m. Yeah, 4 o'clock.
He was on the Sedition 7, I think, quite frankly. I don't know.
I think the Seditious 7 there should be held accountable for what they did.
Let's unravel it all the way, Ruta, because listen, I'm an independent. I've always been an independent. When I was in Ohio, I never had to register party. And while I tend to vote Democratic and liberal just by my upbringing, I've always been accepting of everybody's viewpoint in this country when they come at it from a legitimate point of view. And what's been so confounding to me, and I still have friends and family, who I haven't spoken with yet, past this, what I consider to be the red line. 4 people died over a delusional, conspiracy that has been disproven in front of 60 judges or courts, Republican-run elections, governors, electors, all of it. And I don't understand it, how the lack of an acceptance of a general truth, right, can have resulted in 4 deaths. And Ruta, listen, you and I watched yesterday as the speeches were given at the rally.
Starting, and it has to lie with this man.
Let's even go back.
The 45th president of the United States. He incited violence upon our own country.
There were buses of people and plane loads of people. Mitt Romney was harassed on the plane and in the airport. There were 10 hours for people. Hang on an Ohio bus ride, or how many hours from Florida, Ruta, for people to be without masks in the buses.
And you know what? Good for them.
Well,
that's another angle, and I don't care about that for them. Let them do whatever the hell they want. But when you attack our country and you attack our federal building, there was a retired military person yesterday that made an interesting quote, and he said, how many people died on United Flight 93 defending the Capitol building? How many died taking an aircraft down to protect it from hitting our Capitol building? Specifically, the Capitol building was the target of Al Qaeda. Our own citizens took it down yesterday. Yeah. Shame on you all.
Well, this was domestic. Shame. This was domestic terrorism.
Call it for what it is. It's domestic terrorism. It's anarchy. It should be punished. It's treasonous behavior. It's dangerous behavior. And the fact that Lindsey Graham came out finally and through the 45th, I don't even want to call him president.
I'm done with
us.
him or whatever.
He's done with him.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Langford, enough is enough. You
The
know
blood's
what?
on your hands
It's-
too, but
it is,
believe me when I
it's
tell
too
you.
little too late. Why? You got scared all of a sudden because people were coming at you with guns. Your followers were coming after you with guns. Your own voters who voted your asses in were the ones coming after you with
Mick
guns. Don't be
Mulvaney.
scared now, buddy. Stand up.
Mick
Face the
Mulvaney,
gunshots.
that small man,
Can't
Mick
stand
Mulvaney,
him.
one of the ex-chief of staffs, okay, who stood up and said that COVID was just the latest of the Democratic conspiracies to bring down this president. 350,000 deaths later, bud.
Yeah.
And you've got a little, this whatever semi-ambassadorship to Ireland, and you need to come out and you need to resign to try to save the stain off of your
They
hands.
all have
Are you kidding me?
stains. Scott has stains. All of them. Getz has stains.
What's
All-
going to happen today? Listen, I
all of them
believe,
have
and this is just
stains.
my belief, action needs to be taken today so that he cannot pardon those
Absolutely.
people that stained the Capitol. Who knows what documents that they may have taken out of
Oh
Nancy
my God,
Pelosi's
no, did you
office.
see that idiot with the papers? He actually had papers. The idiot came in, sat at her desk, took photographs, then actually goes out with that, with US documents in his hand, taking selfies. These people are nuts. These people were crazy and they needed to, honestly, the FBI, thank God they're doing their job. They have the cameras on, they had everything. Thank God these people didn't wear masks so we can identify them because they were too stupid to put on a mask and actually create treasonous events yesterday. But one of the things, and I want people to make comments, and please, we'll read them on air. I know everybody's really frustrated with what happened. People are not even frustrated. They're disappointed in our country. They're disappointed in the actions of these few extremist, crazy people. And one thing that I do want to also point out that needs to be brought up, had this been quote a Muslim, had it been Black people, what would the reaction have been? But you have a group of privileged white people storming our people's building, our people's house, and yet look how much silence there was. There was some outrage, but a lot of them are like, oh, QAnon. Oh, people are like, this was Antifa. This is now the other stupid ass conspiracy theories of these wackadoodles who stormed the building are now coming out with new theories of new conspiracies. Enough. Go seek medical help. Go seek counselors. Go see a psychiatrist because you are not normal people. I'm sorry, you are not. I've had it with these people.
Listen, the
No,
layers of racism and of white supremacy and privilege. Listen, if you're gathering in a place where you're not supposed to be and you lay down on the floor, okay, in a non-violent way, you're going to be taken out. And overnight in DC, that's the badge of honor for an honorable protest.
Yes.
Is you get arrested, you go to jail overnight, okay?
Absolutely.
They have these people in the Capitol building. That building should have been surrounded, and every single person in that building should have been taken out in the plastic handcuffs and
my
processed.
God. And process. All of them should have been arrested. All of them.
And
they actually stormed a building. They were armed in many cases.
So now,
if it were a black, I'm telling you, God forbid, if it were a Black man or if it was a Muslim person, these people, the press and all of the outrage would have been escalated. We have Black people who are in for marijuana charges, and yet we have a privileged white person storming the Capitol building, sitting in Vice President Pence's chair and taking selfies, and that they walk away.
oh, and
There's
having
nothing wrong with
waffles
that.
and having waffles at the Waffle House this
Oh,
morning.
God.
Okay, seriously.
No, seriously.
That's what's so crazy about how this. And listen, that's why I say that today action needs to be taken, because Trump can pardon the entire lot of them. He can pardon himself. He can pardon Giuliani for his blood stain.
Oh
okay,
my God.
combat by trial or whatever.
Yeah,
it
trial
is.
by combat.
Trial by combat.
According to Giuliani. And then you have
And John
Trump.
Jr. They're
they're
coming at you, and
all-
boy, will we enjoy that.
You know, and honestly, at this point, I really.
Today,
One thing that scares
I
me,
don't know.
and you know how many people posted this yesterday, like normal people? This man still has access to the nuclear
Yes, he
codes.
does. Yeah.
This man needs to be taken down by the 25th Amendment, by Vice President Pence. Let Pence ride out the last 12 days or so, but this man should not have access to nuclear codes. He's mentally unstable. He has proven it over and over and over again, to the degree where now he is a national threat against
Yeah.
our people.
And these enablers are going to try and jump off the ship right now. Okay, believe
And
me
they
when
have.
I tell
They
you.
jumped ship
Well,
last
they have.
night. They
Well,
have.
I know.
Look at Loeffler.
Yeah.
Loeffler that morning loving Trump, that night saying, throw him under the bus. I can't go along with this. I accept the elections. I mean,
And
a
listen,
little
Mitch
too
McConnell-
late. You know, you're
Mitch
trying to grow a
McConnell made
conscience
his-
now. Forget it. It doesn't work like that.
Mitch McConnell came out, of course, in his speech, which was welcome and lauded, but late.
It was too late.
Late?
It's too, like Trump now, all of a sudden, what, 5 o'clock this morning, comes out with the statement that he now will have a peaceful transition of power. You dumbass, you just destroyed our country. You destroyed 200 years of peaceful transition of power that the entire planet looked to. Every country looked to this country and said, my God, look at this democracy. For 200 years, it had a peaceful transfer of power. We are not some freaking banana republic that he made us. And for those people who are still okay with this, I'm sorry. You need to have a civics lesson. You need to have a history lesson. Take pride in our Constitution, and amen that our Constitution stands.
Huh.
Amen, it stands. And that
It's a thin line,
it's
man.
a thin line. It was challenged. Our forefathers had the insight to know a crazed man like Trump was going to come around one day. It's sad that it's in our lifetime and in our history, and our children. What message are you sending to our children? That it's okay to storm a federal building, that it's okay to take up arms against your fellow Americans? It is not okay, and it is never going to be okay. And for that reason, it has to be punishable swiftly, and it has to send a message that this is not acceptable in the United States. And I think it has to be taken very quickly, as you said. The action against the president should be swift. This is not an action of a president to incite violence. It is not the actions of the president of the United States to call people to go to the Capitol building. He, in his morning speech, told them, let's all march to the Capitol building. And so they marched. He ran away, and he was hiding, watching his little TV
He said he'd be leading him and walking
Oh yeah,
down
he
the-
said he'd
with
leave.
them.
You
Yeah,
think he's
sure.
gonna leave them in anything?
Yeah, sure.
First of all, he doesn't give a crap about those people. Are you kidding me? And then these people are just so brainwashed and idiotically thinking that this man somehow gives a crap. I don't
See,
understand.
Ruta,
that.
as the
Yeah,
emergency
how
doctor
stupid
that I
can you be?
am, I look at a chronic illness,
Oh.
and then I look at the acute
Mm.
crisis. He was the one that called American carnage in his inauguration speech 4 years ago. We have watched 4 years of him basically desecrating over and over many of our norms.
All our institutions that have been
Assaulted,
cherished,
okay,
assaulted, our
and-
traditions, our everything. He assaulted it.
And to the benefit of policy for our Republican friends, okay, who got their judges and got their tax break and got their deregulation of our environmental protections, okay, our ignoring of climate change, okay, these are all policies that many people wanted. So they put up with his insanity. And now we
but
have
this
American
is
carnage
different.
as he
But
goes out.
this
So my point is that's the
different. This is
chronic side.
different, yes.
That's the chronic side of it, Ruta. But you have to look at chronic illness with a storm. It's like cytochrome storm, okay, in COVID. Seriously, something ultimately takes you out. And buddy, you got to go, and you got to go today. And I hope there's the strength of Vice President Pence. Can you believe how we threw Pence under the bus?
Okay,
After
Susan,
he'll throw
can
anybody
this
under
is
the
why-
bus.
This is
Josh
why these people who support him think he cares about them. He throws people who are his friends under the bus. You think he gives a crap ass about any of these people that voted for him? He throws everybody under the bus if you don't agree with him. This man could care less about anybody. He just proved he could care less about our country. The man didn't even want to call out the National Guard to protect the Capitol. His aides had to do it. The fact that he also, in his speech, that crazy speech in the middle of this comes out and still is spinning that he wasn't accepting the
A
results.
landslide
A
victory.
landslide
He
victory.
calls
This
it.
man
Oh my
is
God.
delusional. He's crazy. And he needs to
Historic
be taken
landslide
down.
victory was
My
somehow
God.
stolen. Stop the steal.
Stop
Let me
the-
tell you something. So
Stop the madness. Go seek help.
So I was supposed to speak at the Rotary this morning, and they actually double booked me with the Sheriff Hoffman. So I figured I'd just let him do his thing. I didn't really want to go in anyway. I still think we're in COVID zone, but I know that's other topic. But my point is, I seriously said to myself, what if I get in front of up in front of the Rotaries, and there's a guy out there wearing a MAGA hat? Or there's still somebody with their Trump shirt right now. I honestly don't know how to handle it. Listen, somebody at that, and Sherry Yaffe, one of my LA doctor friends, posted it. There was a Camp Auschwitz
shirt
Camp
on.
Auschwitz shirt
There was a guy with a camp.
prominent.
You had people with Confederate flags. You had people with Camp Auschwitz. These were the people that were inside that building. And again, not post 9/11. These same people who are like, oh, this is terrible. Let's never forget 9/11. These people were the ones now creating the other 9/11 inside their own country.
And watch the talk about law and order today from,
they were cursing. And this is the other thing, the disrespect of these people to the police, to the National Guard. They were spit on. There were people saying they were spitting on them. And you're saying law and order and you're respecting everything. Then they have the audacity even on top of it. And I had numerous Republicans, and shame on all of you again. I can't stand it, but shame on all of you. Starting to compare what happened yesterday to the Black Lives Matter marches. Are you freaking out of your trees? Right. Really, you cannot compare what happened over that. These people protested racism, justice. It wasn't, and they didn't storm the US Capitol. They didn't threaten the Senate and the congressmen who serve you. They did not go in with guns loaded. This is craziness. And the fact that there's still people defending this is mind-boggling.
And once again, how the people were treated. So I saw the Capitol Police actually kind of pull, and listen, the investigations will come down, but you got to remember that peaceful protesters in the square were gassed so that Trump could go and do his photo op. Peaceful protesters before curfew,
who didn't spit at the police, who didn't spit at the military,
so
who didn't go in armed. Yes, they were gassed.
So let me tell you about my experience last night, Ruta, because listen, we're lucky. We get to have our little vent session this morning, and I don't know if anybody's watching, Don, but I sure feel better.
I do too.
To that extent, because seriously, we all need to air out what we're feeling today, because to me, once again, it's a post 9/11 moment. But this is what I did last night. So I watched Fox News last night. Seriously, and I was able to watch.
Fox now is the new evil channel.
I was able to listen to Liz Cheney and Rand Paul, and then I switched back to CNN and MSNBC. But what I wanted to listen to on CNN when they had their commentators over here talking, because I know what they're going to say. I wanted to hear what these protesters were saying to the police and all that on the other side. So I don't know if anybody else had that experience.
I flipped a
but
little.
I know, but I was frustrated because CNN had that feed where you had these rioters, these Trump seditionists. I don't know, who knows what we're ultimately going to call them,
Traitors, call it what it is.
But I wanted to hear their interaction with the police lines and what they were saying, to these honorable Capitol and police and National Guardsmen and this and that, So it's just fascinating to me that to our Republican friends today, and the next time, I run into you, please, I hope, and listen, this is the lemonade out of the lemons to me, Ruta, and you know me, I'm the eternal optimist. To me, and I've said this from the get-go, and I like to talk Donnie Deutsch on this one because he's spoken to this. Trump to me is like a freaking rattling old car, or brand new car, quite frankly. You drive him off the lot and he goes 50% down in value, which is what's going to happen on January 21st, and hopefully today. The moment he's out of that presidency, he goes down. But I believe this because of the outrageous behavior of his fringe supporters, let's call them that, okay, whatever the heck they are. I believe that that has to diminish whatever ongoing thought or power or control. You may disagree with this, Ruta, or whatever that this moron, this insane idiot may have over my continued Republican friends, right? And they're going to have to figure it out what the hell to do with their party, okay?
Their party has fallen to the ground, and the Republican Party now has to take a deep, hard, long look at itself. You lost the presidency, you lost the Senate, you lost
Yes,
the House. Here's to Stacey Abrams,
right. John
with,
Ossoff,
John
and Reverend Warnock, a black and a Jew,
and a Jew.
everybody, okay?
took Georgia.
And the significance of it is so important because this allows for the appropriate appointments of Merrick Garland, okay, for
Yeah.
Attorney General, you know, and all the others. And listen, we could talk MORE Act, we can talk cannabis. We won't today,
Yeah.
but we surely could.
But one of the things also that you're just mentioning, the demise of Trump. One of the things that was ultimately very frightening, if you took a look, and I know everybody was just looking at the chaos yesterday, people were hanging up, taking down the American flag and putting up a flag with Trump's name on
Wow.
it. And it was, they said, overwhelming the amount of
Chilling.
American flags that were being, it was like Nazi Germany. I mean, it was like the swastikas were coming up, except
Over
it said
him?
Trump.
Over this guy?
Over
What?
this guy.
this-
And they said when you looked out, they were ripping down the American flags and replacing them with Trump flags.
Wow.
That's a frightening
It
thing.
is.
And it's something that, where are these people going to disappear all of a sudden January 21st? They're not. They're still going to be here. And we have to deal with that as a country. The fact that these kind of people exist who are willing to rip down the United States flag and replace it with a Trump flag. If anybody has any questions,
I
comments,
know.
things, please feel free to air it. We'll read it out on the air. I know everybody's frustrated today. I know everybody's disappointed. I know people are, their hearts are ripped out with sadness over what happened, that an American could do this to another American, that Americans could take up arms against their fellow Americans, that they could actually try to attack their own building that represents the people. It's a heartache on all of us this morning.
And
It
it's a
really
heartache on,
is.
it's a heartache on top of what we know we need as a country right now, which is cooperation between this administration and the next. That's been ruined already. We know that. Okay. But we're still in pandemic time. We're still in a war right now. Okay. With this virus, right? And what we needed was so much different, so much different. So once again, the optimist in me, the lemonade out of lemonades guy in me says hopefully and it's going to be a couple days, Ruta. It'll be so interesting to see what shakes down in that Capitol today. The smell of tear gas remains in that Capitol building today.
And the blood stains will remain there for eternity. The blood stains will not go away. History is history. It's been recorded. Yeah. It's documented as one of the darkest days in our democratic republic's history. And that will go unchanged, that these people who did this will live in infamy. They will. But one of the other things that, people are saying that Trump is still saying there's going to be a peaceful transfer of power, which is already too late, too little, too late. But one of the frightening things, I was looking at the crowd yesterday of all those idiots with the horns and things like that. I didn't see, and this is what's frightening me right now, I didn't see the Proud Boys, because the Proud Boys make themselves known.
Yep.
They were not there yesterday. The militias that have been underground forming in this country to support Trump, they were not there. Where are they? And what are they planning? Because they're extremely organized. I don't think it's over yet. I don't. I think the Proud Boys haven't spoken. I think Trump's militias have not spoken yet. And that's what's really scaring me. And also, there was a lot of talk yesterday about where were the police? Where was the security for the Capitol building? Where does this start? This was a federal building. This is not the DC Dominion. Somebody knew that this was going to happen. I really believe that, because obviously Trump called his minions to come and congregate there. They knew this was going to occur, yet they didn't reinforce anybody. Trump had to be begged to call in the National Guard. He wanted the chaos. He wanted the aggression. He did not ever prep this day the way it should have been prepped as a federal protection on the Capitol and on our senators and our congressmen and our elected officials. This has to be addressed as well. Why was the federal building not protected sufficiently, and knowingly that this was going to occur?
And our leaders,
I mean,
our vice president, our speaker of the house, and the president pro tem were all in jeopardy and at risk.
Jeopardy. I mean, those images of the police inside the Capitol holding guns and holding those people.
It's on our screen
at bay. This is not the United States of America that I know. This is not what should occur. And to have these people again be able to even storm our buildings like this, I think it's something that has to be looked at into the future, as to why. Again, our Constitution thankfully stands today. Our democracy, republic stands today. No thanks to Donald Trump, and no thanks to those people who were extremists yesterday, who are anarchists, who caused havoc upon our country, a disgrace upon our country, dismantled our image across the globe that stood for hundreds of years as a beacon of light. Literally in a matter of hours took away our proud history and turned it into a shit show. And for those who stand by this action in any manner, I'm sorry, hang your head in shame today, because you should not be proud of what happened, and you should never accept it as something that's okay in our country. We do want a future of hope. It is a new year, but to start this out in this manner and still be fearful for the next 13 days of what's going to happen. I'm still nervous. I don't think it's over. I really don't. In my gut, I still have a feeling.
Oh, I'm more nervous today than I've ever been, quite frankly.
I'm thinking like something's going to happen here. And again, God forbid the nuclear codes are accessed by this madman.
Oh, I hope there's somebody literally laying there with their body over the briefcase.
Yeah, with a hand grenade that if it goes, he's going down before the maniac gets to it.
The maniac.
He is a
the maniac. I mean, I think it's really time. And I heard, others, listen, anybody that's watching us this morning, I'm honored to have you watch. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, listen, I'm kind of glued to all kinds of different things, and I can have this on in the background too. But this allows Ruta and I, quite frankly, to be therapeutic with ourselves.
It's therapeutic with ourselves, but even friends, because
but we're nothing but Americans. We're just nothing but just normal, average, ordinary Americans.
Yes.
And my belief
who
is
love
always
their country,
who love their country.
And you know what amazes me? This is the other thing. The audacity of those idiots marching in there yesterday and storming the Capitol to call themselves patriots. Are you nuts?
That's why these next couple of days, that's why these next couple of days are, what time is it, by the way, Don?
We've got 2 minutes.
About 2 minutes, great. And that's why these next couple of days are going to be so interesting, because remember, and I've always felt this, because remember, I'm a communications major. This is our world. You got to remember, they're over there circling in their world. Hang on. And they've got their media and they've got their images coming in at them. Believe me when I tell you, there's going to be thems on the other side that are somehow going to say that the idiot needs to turn this around somehow and declare martial law and keep power that way. Yeah, okay. How that can happen, I don't know. They were his freaking followers and people. So that's why action needs to be taken on the other side. But that's our spinning. And that's why I share your concern. And listen, I'm not a prayerful man necessarily, but those of you that are, and I know I got many on my Facebook, my sister, I don't know if she's watching, get on your knees, man. We got 13 days to survive this.
We need to just
insanity.
Pray for our country. Anyway.
Pray for our
country, because really, what happened is just, it's not acceptable. It's sad.
And listen, we can't even talk.
Let's have hope for the 2021 that somehow after the 21st something changes.
And listen, there was the huge election in Georgia, the night before, and I say that incited things too, because those people on those buses and on those planes, they woke up in the morning to knowing they lost the Senate. And they lost the Senate because for some reason they let this insane, quote unquote, and I won't even call him a leader, okay, whatever the heck he is, okay. And Lindsey Graham said it, and we can end it with this. He said, if we nominate this person, then we'll, and it's probably paraphrased, then we'll be destroyed. And you know what, Bud? That's what happened. This carnage yesterday was a result of 4 years of complete and utter allowing somebody who did not have the best intentions for the country, no matter what you guys say. He only
never
looks out
did.
for himself.
He did, and they let it go. They never,
And now 4 people
and
are
all
dead.
of a sudden now they're challenging the truth is the truth. Where were you for the 4 years?
Yeah.
Why did you allow all of these lies and all of these crazy conspiracy theories? And why was it allowed? And why did you keep kissing this man's behind when he was going to throw you under the bus anyway? So finally you got your chance yesterday.
Even Mike Pence, even Mike Pence.
These people were all
Did
frustrated.
I ever
with this
feel
man.
I think I can have sympathy for Mike Pence. So everybody listen, next week, okay, I definitely want to go back and talk Georgia elections,
Yeah.
MORE Act, where we're going.
Where we're
Hopefully we'll be able to do
going.
that, Ruta. If we have to have another
Hopefully.
morning,
Like
next
this,
Thursday
God, no,
morning,
God
like this
forbid,
one,
God forbid, God
I don't think
forbid.
this country can handle it.
I don't think we can handle it. Honestly,
I'm going to go the other way. The country can handle
Well,
it.
the country will stand.
We're strong.
We're strong. We're resilient. But he brought us to our knees yesterday.
He did.
He did. For the president of our own country to bring its own people to the knees, not properly, not for prayer, not for anything, but out of dismay and out of heartbreak and out of being
Out of lies
lies
and
and
conspiracy
conspiracy
theorism and
in
cute
narcissism,
and narcissism.
it's pure narcissism that he couldn't cope with losing. You're a loser. You're a loser on every level. You're a loser in front of the world, a loser in front of your own people, a loser in front of children, a loser, a loser, a loser. That's all he is.
No, and I think to a certain
it's-
extent, any
it's
feeling
it.
that he may be let, a little bit lighter off by the state of New York or other
I
entities
hope
who,
he
of
goes
course,
to
oh
jail.
no, I think it goes
hope
exactly
he
the
goes
opposite.
to jail. His
Well.
children go to jail. I hope all of these people who desecrated.
Well, there were 4 lives
desecrated the Capitol
lost.
will be charged for manslaughter or murder. I
And
hope
let's
they
pray for
all-
the next 13 days.
And let's pray for the next 13 days, and let's pray for our country.
be
Let's
American
pray for
strong.
all people around the world, not just Americans. We're
Yeah.
all humanity,
Indeed.
and may we all have a much more peaceful 2021 than the start of this ridiculousness
And healthy.
and healthy.